The echo of the gavel thundered across the courtroom, and Anna Mitchell said, "This cannot be the end." The silence that followed felt heavier than the verdict itself, as Laura Mitchell reached for her hand, whispering, "We will not give up." Judge Richard Hale leaned back, his composed face revealing nothing, while David Cole stood in the corner, his jaw set, refusing to meet their eyes. Ethan Mitchell clenched his fists, muttering, "They think they can silence us." The air smelled of polished wood and fear, mingling with the sharp memory of Sophia Mitchell, whose absence screamed louder than words. The narrator described how shadows stretched along the marble floor, swallowing their hopes. Anna Mitchell felt the weight of every scar she carried, every unanswered question that haunted her nights. The verdict was a wound, and yet beneath it, a fire stirred. Laura Mitchell's calm voice hid a storm, her eyes glistening with unspoken truths. David Cole shifted, holding secrets behind his steady stance. Richard Hale's gavel rested, a symbol of control. Ethan Mitchell's restless energy sparked, his defiance uncontainable. And in the distance, Sophia Mitchell's memory lingered, fragile yet commanding. The night crept over the city as Anna Mitchell walked out of the courthouse, her steps heavy as though dragging chains of disappointment. "Laura Mitchell," said softly, "the fight is not lost, only delayed." David Cole followed at a distance, eyes scanning shadows as if expecting someone to emerge. Ethan Mitchell kicked at the pavement, growling, "They treat us like we don't matter." The narrator described how the street lamps hummed faintly, casting long yellow beams that fractured against the cold sidewalk. The air was sharp with winter's bite, reminding them of Sophia Mitchell's laughter that once warmed nights like these. Judge Richard Hale's voice echoed in Anna Mitchell's mind, an iron decree sealing their pain. She gritted her teeth, whispering into the wind, "We will not stop." The family's silhouettes stretched against the courthouse steps, fragile yet unyielding, a portrait of determination against the looming dark. Inside their modest kitchen, the silence carried heavier weight than words. Anna Mitchell placed a sealed letter on the table, her fingers lingering as though afraid to let go. Laura Mitchell said, "Not tonight, Anna, please." Ethan Mitchell leaned against the counter, sketching aimlessly, muttering, "Secrets don't protect us." David Cole stood near the window, arms crossed, his reflection fragmented by rain streaks outside. The narrator revealed how the letter had remained untouched for years, tied to Sophia Mitchell's absence, its edges frayed by time. The ticking clock echoed like a metronome of grief. Anna Mitchell's eyes softened but did not break, her heart torn between fear of truth and hunger for justice. The kitchen lights flickered, painting their shadows across worn tiles, as if Sophia Mitchell's presence still moved among them. The family gathered in the living room, the air crackling with unspoken anger. Anna Mitchell whispered, "Every step we take feels like a trap." Laura Mitchell replied firmly, "We cannot let fear dictate our path." Ethan Mitchell slammed his sketchbook shut, shouting, "You all pretend she's gone, but Sophia Mitchell's still here." David Cole's eyes darkened, murmuring, "The truth demands sacrifices." The narrator described how the fire in the hearth crackled, its flames mirrored in their eyes, illuminating both warmth and division. Sophia Mitchell's photograph on the mantel caught the glow, her smile frozen in eternal youth. The room became a battlefield of grief, love, and betrayal wrapped in silence heavier than screams. Rain hammered against the roof as Anna Mitchell stood on the porch, her breath steady despite the storm. She whispered, "Sophia, we are still fighting." Laura Mitchell appeared behind her, saying, "You carry the scars, but we all carry the weight." Ethan Mitchell pressed his forehead against the doorframe, muttering, "What if we never find the truth?" David Cole's voice came low, "The cost may be more than you can bear." The narrator described how thunder rolled like the gavel's echo, a reminder of the verdict that chained them. Yet, beneath the storm, resolve hardened. Lightning split the sky, illuminating their faces, haunted, scarred, but unbroken. The fight was far from over, and the night itself seemed to bow before their defiance. The morning light crept into the Mitchell home, filtering through blinds like fractured hope. Anna Mitchell sat at the table, her untouched coffee cooling. She whispered, Every day feels stolen. Laura Mitchell, with quiet determination, placed a hand on her shoulder and said, "Strength is what they fear most." Ethan Mitchell stormed in, his voice sharp. "Strength means nothing if they keep lying." David Cole leaned in the doorway, his tone measured. "Anger feeds them. Strategy breaks them." The narrator revealed how silence hung, broken only by the tick of the clock, echoing Sophia Mitchell's absence. Anna Mitchell's eyes lingered on the sealed letter, her hand hovering but unwilling to open it. The sunlight illuminated their faces, fragile yet hardened. Laura Mitchell fought to keep calm, while Ethan Mitchell burned with restlessness. David Cole observed quietly, his thoughts cloaked. The narrator reminded that grief tied them together, but secrets threatened to shatter them apart. Later that day, Anna Mitchell walked through rows of courthouse files, her fingers brushing faded paper edges. She whispered, "Buried truths never stay hidden." Laura Mitchell followed, saying, "We must tread carefully, Anna." Ethan Mitchell, restless, knocked a stack of papers loose, muttering, "Careful gets us nowhere." David Cole caught the papers, his voice firm. "Control your fire, Ethan, or it will consume us all." The narrator described the smell of dust and ink, lingering heavy in the air. Shadows from tall shelves draped across their faces, fragments of light breaking their tension. The echo of footsteps reminded Anna Mitchell of Judge Richard Hale's decree, like a ghost following. She closed her eyes, hearing Sophia Mitchell's laughter once more. Their search for justice was only beginning, but already the weight of hidden power pressed against them like an invisible hand. Night settled when Anna Mitchell returned to the porch, staring at the storm-dark sky. She whispered, "Sophia, guide me." Laura Mitchell stepped out, her voice low. "Faith carries us where strength fails." Ethan Mitchell leaned on the railing, muttering, "Faith didn't save her." David Cole remained behind them, saying, "The truth lies where no one dares look." The narrator described the air heavy with rain scent, lightning flickering across distant clouds. The wooden boards creaked beneath their feet, every sound amplified by the silence that followed. Sophia Mitchell's memory hovered like a whisper in the storm. Anna Mitchell's face glistened in the dim light, fragile but unyielding. Laura Mitchell's calm held them together. Ethan Mitchell's defiance threatened to fracture them, and David Cole's silence seemed to hide 1,000 unspoken thoughts. Justice demanded sacrifice, and the storm only sharpened their resolve. In the dim-lit living room, Anna Mitchell laid the sealed letter on the coffee table. Her voice quivered, "If I open this, everything changes." Laura Mitchell whispered, "Perhaps that is what we need." Ethan Mitchell snapped, "You're afraid of truth." David Cole intervened, "Some truths can destroy more than lies." The narrator described the flicker of candlelight casting fractured shadows, flames dancing across their tense faces. The letter seemed alive, daring them to confront what it contained. Sophia Mitchell's photograph shimmered on the mantel, as though reacting to their fear. The air was thick with conflict, layered in grief and anticipation. Anna Mitchell's trembling fingers rested on the envelope, torn between dread and courage. Laura Mitchell's eyes glistened with hidden history. Ethan Mitchell's fire raged for answers. David Cole's steady stance masked unease. The room held its breath, waiting for the choice that could shatter them. The following morning, Anna Mitchell walked alone along the cemetery path, her breath visible in the cold air. She whispered, "Sophia, we carry you with us." Laura Mitchell joined softly. "Love endures beyond the grave." Ethan Mitchell, kicking gravel, muttered, "Endurance is not justice." David Cole said gravely, "Justice requires sacrifice." The narrator described how frost clung to stone markers, silence broken only by crows circling overhead. Sophia Mitchell's grave stood among them, flowers wilting but vibrant in memory. Anna Mitchell's eyes filled with quiet tears, yet her resolve was steel. Laura Mitchell reached out, anchoring her with touch. Ethan Mitchell's restless energy burned in every movement. David Cole remained still, his unreadable gaze fixed on the stone. In that moment, grief and determination entwined, binding them to the path of justice, no matter the cost. The courthouse steps echoed with tension, as Anna Mitchell whispered, We stand in the shadow of lies. Laura Mitchell replied, shadows can't hide forever. Ethan Mitchell slammed his fist against the railing, muttering, they control everything. David Cole said firmly, control doesn't last when truth bleeds through cracks. The narrator described how the cold wind carried the memory of Sophia Mitchell, her laughter clinging like a ghost in the air. Judge Richard Hale's car pulled away in the distance, his silhouette faint in the window, a reminder of authority beyond reach. Anna Mitchell's face hardened, Laura Mitchell's eyes softened with hidden storms, Ethan Mitchell's restless fire raged, and David Cole's stillness veiled secrets. The stone steps beneath them bore the weight of generations of injustice, yet their resolve did not falter. They were a family fractured but unbroken, pushing against a system that sought to silence them. Inside a dim office, Anna Mitchell spread files across the desk, whispering, this is the evidence they buried. Laura Mitchell leaned closer, saying, careful Anna, one wrong move ruins us. Ethan Mitchell growled, we can't keep being careful. David Cole added, careful is survival, not surrender. The narrator described papers glowing under a single desk lamp, dust curling in its circle of light. Photographs and transcripts painted a web of corruption, each line pointing to power shielded by Judge Richard Hale. The walls of the office groaned with age, carrying the echoes of secrets long suppressed. Anna Mitchell's fingers trembled but did not stop. Laura Mitchell's calm voice cloaked unease. Ethan Mitchell's defiance burned brighter, while David Cole's quiet tone sharpened with warning. Justice was not only buried but guarded, and the family stood at the edge of danger. The rain poured as Anna Mitchell and Laura Mitchell rushed through the alley, papers clutched tight. Anna Mitchell said, if they see this, we're finished. Laura Mitchell whispered, then we must not be seen. Ethan Mitchell trailed behind, shouting, running proves we're right. David Cole snapped, running keeps us alive. The narrator described water pooling across the cracked pavement, reflections of neon signs flickering like broken truths. Their footsteps splashed in rhythm, urgency in every stride. In the shadows, an unseen figure lingered, a reminder that they were being watched. Sophia Mitchell's memory seemed to guide them, a whisper of courage in the storm. The alley narrowed, trapping them between fear and survival. Anna Mitchell's determination burned. Laura Mitchell's caution steadied, Ethan Mitchell's defiance sparked, and David Cole's calm masked deeper plans. In the flicker of a roadside diner, Anna Mitchell whispered, we can't trust anyone now. Laura Mitchell said softly, trust is a luxury we don't have. Ethan Mitchell slammed his hand on the counter, muttering, then we trust only ourselves. David Cole murmured, even that comes with risk. The narrator described the hum of the neon sign outside, its red glow casting fractured light across their faces. Coffee steamed untouched on the counter, the air heavy with exhaustion. The waitress passed by, but Anna Mitchell kept her eyes low, afraid of whispers following them. Sophia Mitchell's face lingered in their silence, a reminder of why they endured. Their breaths sensed in weary rhythm, tied not by peace, but by the war ahead. Every word spoken was both a vow and a warning. The night deepened as Anna Mitchell stood at the motel window, whispering, every shadow feels like eyes. Laura Mitchell answered gently, fear cannot chain us. Ethan Mitchell muttered from the bed, they're already watching. David Cole replied coldly, then we move before dawn. The narrator described how headlights swept briefly across thin curtains, vanishing as quickly as they came. The motel air smelled of damp carpet and old smoke pressing against their nerves. Sophia Mitchell's name echoed in Anna Mitchell's thoughts, a vow etched in silence. Their fight grew sharper, their unity more fragile, yet their will unbroken. Anna Mitchell's resolve glimmered. Laura Mitchell's voice held them steady. Ethan Mitchell's restless fire never dimmed, and David Cole's tone hinted at knowledge unspoken. The storm outside mirrored the storm within, pulling them closer to danger. The courthouse corridors echoed with heavy footsteps as Anna Mitchell whispered, something doesn't add up. Laura Mitchell said softly, we've been misled from the beginning. Ethan Mitchell barked, You mean betrayed? David Cole murmured, not all betrayals come from enemies. The narrator revealed how the walls felt closer, their secrets pressing inward. Judge Richard Hale's shadow loomed larger with every uncovered file. Anna Mitchell's determination deepened, Laura Mitchell's steady warmth cracked with doubt, Ethan Mitchell's eyes flared with anger, and David Cole's expression darkened, masking truths. The sealed letter in Anna Mitchell's pocket burned like fire, a reminder of Sophia Mitchell's absence and the cost of silence. The air smelled of dust and power, heavy with hidden hands manipulating their lives. The family stood on the brink of revelation, yet danger curled around every corner. In the silence of their living room, Anna Mitchell spread the documents across the table. She whispered, "These names connect to Sophia." Laura Mitchell gasped, "They erased her truth." Ethan Mitchell shouted, "They killed her memory too." David Cole said calmly, "Not erased, controlled." The narrator described the flickering lamp illuminating the papers, each marked with scars of manipulation. Sophia Mitchell's name, repeated in margins like an echo of grief. Anna Mitchell's voice trembled, but did not falter. Laura Mitchell's hands shook as she reached for the files. Ethan Mitchell's fury burned, and David Cole's tone carried hidden weight. Judge Richard Hale's signature appeared in bold ink, a shadow across their hope. The room was thick with betrayal, binding them tighter even as trust threatened to unravel. At the diner booth, Anna Mitchell whispered, "These files point to Richard Hale." Laura Mitchell said sharply, "Then he is the key." Ethan Mitchell slammed the table, muttering, "We drag him into the light." David Cole said, "Light blinds as much as it reveals." The narrator described the red neon glow spilling through the window, painting their faces with fractured color. Coffee cooled untouched, as though time itself had frozen. Sophia Mitchell's reflection seemed to flicker in the glass, a memory alive among them. Anna Mitchell's voice sharpened with resolve. Laura Mitchell's tone carried hidden fear. Ethan Mitchell's defiance grew sharper, and David Cole's calm turned unsettling. The walls of the diner felt too close, their truths too heavy, their fight no longer a secret but a declaration. Rain poured outside as Anna Mitchell opened the sealed letter with trembling hands. She whispered, "It was her." Laura Mitchell gasped, "Sophia tried to warn us." Ethan Mitchell shouted, "She knew the truth." David Cole said coldly, "Truth carries weight that kills." The narrator described the paper trembling in Anna Mitchell's grasp, ink bleeding slightly from age. Sophia Mitchell's words were both love and confession, pointing toward Richard Hale's control. The storm outside grew violent, thunder rattling the windows, as if the world itself bore witness. Anna Mitchell's heart raced, Laura Mitchell's tears flowed, Ethan Mitchell's fury burned hotter, and David Cole's face stiffened unreadable. Betrayal now had a name, and the name had always been closest to their wound. The family stood together in the storm, the letter clutched tightly in Anna Mitchell's hand. She whispered, "Richard Hale is the reason Sophia is gone." Laura Mitchell sobbed, "He destroyed her truth." Ethan Mitchell shouted, "Then we destroy him." David Cole said flatly, "Be careful. The deeper we strike, the harder they strike back." The narrator described rain soaking them, lightning igniting the night, and thunder echoing like judgment. Sophia Mitchell's ghostly presence felt near, her words still vibrating in Anna Mitchell's chest. Their grief had transformed into a vow, unbreakable and dangerous. Anna Mitchell's resolve sharpened, Laura Mitchell's sorrow hardened, Ethan Mitchell's fury blazed, and David Cole's caution grew sharper. The path was clear, but it led into darkness where betrayal waited at every step. The courthouse trembled under the weight of voices as Anna Mitchell whispered, "This is the moment Sophia deserves." Laura Mitchell steadied her voice, saying, "We speak for her when silence tries to bury her." Ethan Mitchell hissed, "No silence can bury fire." David Cole muttered, "Fire consumes what it touches." Judge Richard Hale entered, his robe flowing like shadow. The narrator described how Anna Mitchell's hands tightened around the letter, Sophia Mitchell's words pressed into her skin. Laura Mitchell's eyes were pools of grief. Ethan Mitchell's fury radiated. David Cole's composure concealed a storm. and Richard Hale's presence filled the chamber with cold command. The gavel gleamed under the light, waiting to strike again, a symbol of authority turned weapon. The family's breaths aligned, their unity sharpened, as they faced the man whose name haunted Sophia Mitchell's last words. The judge's voice boomed as Richard Hale said, "This case is closed." Anna Mitchell stood, her voice sharp, "No case ends when truth is hidden." Laura Mitchell added, her voice is here in these words. Ethan Mitchell slammed the table shouting, "Sophia speaks through us." David Cole's low tone cut through, "We bring what you buried into light." The narrator described how tension split the room like thunder, papers scattering from the force of Ethan Mitchell's strike. Richard Hale's eyes narrowed, his composure cracked by defiance. Anna Mitchell's determination burned. Laura Mitchell's sorrow transformed into strength. Ethan Mitchell's rage became a weapon, and David Cole's steady voice carved into silence. Sophia Mitchell's name echoed louder than the gavel, carried by their unity and grief. Anna Mitchell opened the letter, reading Sophia Mitchell's words aloud. "He controlled truth, and truth was my death." Laura Mitchell sobbed, whispering, "She carried this burden alone." Ethan Mitchell shouted, "And he killed her with it." David Cole added quietly, "This is the weight of silence." The narrator described how Richard Hale's jaw tightened, his mask of control cracking. The courtroom air thickened, each word of Sophia Mitchell echoing like a bell tolling. Anna Mitchell's voice shook but did not falter. Laura Mitchell's grief hardened into rage. Ethan Mitchell's energy burned like wildfire, and David Cole's calm tone masked betrayal's shadow. The gavel slammed, but its sound no longer silenced them. The truth spilled like water breaking a dam unstoppable. The storm outside echoed within as Anna Mitchell shouted, "You destroyed Sophia's life." Laura Mitchell's voice broke, her memory bleeds through every word. Ethan Mitchell leaned forward, yelling, "Justice doesn't bow to power." David Cole said coldly, "Power bows only when broken." The narrator described how Richard Hale's eyes shifted, not with fear but calculation. The courtroom gasped, whispers weaving through the crowd like wildfire. Anna Mitchell's tears turned to fire, Laura Mitchell's grief to fury, Ethan Mitchell's defiance to courage, and David Cole's mask darkened with hidden truth. The gavel fell again, but its echo was drowned by voices rising. Sophia Mitchell's name cut through the storm, her absence now a weapon against the man who tried to erase her. As the chamber roared, Anna Mitchell whispered, "Sophia, this is for you." Laura Mitchell said firmly, "We will not be silenced." Ethan Mitchell shouted, "Justice lives in us." David Cole's tone cut deep, but justice demands a cost. The narrator described how Richard Hale rose from his bench, fury burning across his features. Thunder rattled the building, lightning illuminating their faces in defiance. Anna Mitchell's voice trembled but stayed sharp. Laura Mitchell's steady tone became unbreakable. Ethan Mitchell's fire blazed higher, and David Cole's stillness turned ominous. Sophia Mitchell's name rang through the walls, her ghostly memory lingering like breath in the storm. The fight had reached its breaking point, where truth and power clashed, and only one would endure. The courthouse emptied under gray skies as Anna Mitchell whispered, "Justice is no longer theirs to give." Laura Mitchell said gently, "Justice lives in truth, and truth is ours now." Ethan Mitchell growled, "Then why does it feel hollow?" David Cole murmured, "Because victory without peace is only survival." The narrator described the damp air wrapping around them like a shroud, Sophia Mitchell's name still vibrating in Anna Mitchell's chest. Judge Richard Hale retreated, his shadow lingering in their minds. Anna Mitchell's hand still clutched the letter. Laura Mitchell's tears carved lines of grief, Ethan Mitchell's fury did not fade, and David Cole's silence grew darker. The courthouse steps, once symbols of power, now bore the weight of Sophia Mitchell's truth. Their fight had changed them forever, yet the cost carved wounds deeper than triumph. That evening, Anna Mitchell sat at the kitchen table, whispering, "Her words haunt me." Laura Mitchell said softly, "They guide us still." Ethan Mitchell muttered, "Guidance means nothing if justice dies here." David Cole added calmly, Justice bends but never vanishes. The narrator described the dim bulb swinging slightly, shadows stretching across peeling wallpaper. The sealed letter lay open between them, Sophia Mitchell's handwriting fragile yet unshaken by time. Anna Mitchell's eyes traced every word. Laura Mitchell's hands lingered on the paper. Ethan Mitchell's restless tapping echoed frustration, and David Cole's gaze stayed fixed beyond the window. The house seemed alive with silence, Sophia Mitchell's presence pulsing through every corner, her memory binding them closer and tearing them apart. The cemetery was silent, except for crows circling above. Anna Mitchell whispered, "We carried your truth, Sophia." Laura Mitchell said gently. Your voice broke their silence. Ethan Mitchell muttered, "But silence still stalks us." David Cole replied low, "Truth is a seed. It grows even in grave soil." The narrator described frost edging the tombstone, flowers wilting yet radiant with memory. Anna Mitchell's breath fogged the cold air. Laura Mitchell's hand pressed firmly on the stone. Ethan Mitchell kicked gravel in restless grief. And David Cole stood rigid, his gaze unreadable. Sophia Mitchell's presence lingered, her ghost woven into the winter air. They stood together, fractured yet unbroken, their vows sealed not by law but by love and sacrifice. Back at the living room, Anna Mitchell whispered, "What if justice twisted into something unrecognizable?" Laura Mitchell replied, "Then we hold the memory pure." Ethan Mitchell said bitterly, "Memory doesn't punish monsters." David Cole murmured, "Punishment comes in silence and time." The narrator described the fire burning low, casting amber shadows across their tired faces. Sophia Mitchell's photo glowed faintly above the mantel, her smile frozen in youth. Anna Mitchell's fingers trembled as she touched the frame. Laura Mitchell's eyes filled with longing. Ethan Mitchell's anger simmered, and David Cole's calm remained unsettling. The room bore witness to their grief, their love, and their vow. They were bound by memory, by pain, and by a justice that no verdict could erase. The storm passed, leaving stillness across the porch. Anna Mitchell whispered, "Her truth is alive in us." Laura Mitchell replied, "And we carry it forward." Ethan Mitchell muttered, "But at what cost?" David Cole said coldly, "Every truth has a grave." The narrator described the dawn sky breaking with muted gold, the air heavy with dew. Anna Mitchell's face glowed faintly in the morning light. Laura Mitchell's calm returned like steady flame. Ethan Mitchell's defiance simmered quietly, and David Cole's shadow lingered as if waiting for another betrayal. Sophia Mitchell's presence remained, not as a ghost, but as a wound and a promise. The family stood united, yet fractured. Justice served but never whole. Their fight transformed into an echo that would never fade. The night was silent when Anna Mitchell whispered, "Sophia's voice still lingers." Laura Mitchell replied softly, "Her truth will not die with us." Ethan Mitchell growled, "But they still walk free." David Cole muttered, "Freedom is not victory, only delay." The narrator described how the street lamps flickered faintly as they walked together, the courthouse looming behind them like a scar against the sky. Sophia Mitchell's name pulsed like a heartbeat in Anna Mitchell's chest, guiding each step. Laura Mitchell's calm steadied them. Ethan Mitchell's fire raged, and David Cole's silence grew darker, his eyes reflecting secrets buried deeper than the night. Their breaths joined in rhythm, carrying Sophia Mitchell's memory into the unknown. The storm had ended, but the air carried tension that no verdict could wash away. Inside the house, Anna Mitchell whispered, "Every corner still holds her." Laura Mitchell touched the mantel, saying, "Sophia breathes in this room." Ethan Mitchell muttered, "But rooms cannot fight monsters." David Cole replied coldly, "Monsters rot in silence when truth eats away." The narrator described the flicker of the fire, Sophia Mitchell's framed photograph glowing faintly, her eyes seeming to follow them. Anna Mitchell's hands trembled against the frame. Laura Mitchell's eyes softened with sorrow. Ethan Mitchell's fists clenched with fury, and David Cole's shadow loomed taller against the wall. Their grief painted the air thick, their unity fragile but unyielding. Sophia Mitchell's memory wrapped around them like a ghostly blanket, at once comforting and suffocating. In the cemetery at dawn, Anna Mitchell whispered, Your truth lives beyond stone. Laura Mitchell murmured, your voice carried us here. Ethan Mitchell said bitterly, but stone cannot strike back. David Cole replied, truth strikes in silence when no one is ready. The narrator described frost glistening over Sophia Mitchell's grave, light breaking through gray clouds. Anna Mitchell's hand pressed the cold stone. Laura Mitchell's tears streaked her cheeks. Ethan Mitchell's eyes burned with defiance, and David Cole's calm expression masked something deeper. The air was heavy with silence, but Sophia Mitchell's presence seemed alive in every breath of wind. Their unity was a vow, etched in grief, not erased by time, not silenced by law. Later, Anna Mitchell whispered, Sophia's truth cost us everything. Laura Mitchell replied, cost does not erase meaning. Ethan Mitchell snapped, meaning without justice is a wound. David Cole muttered, some wounds never close. The narrator described how the storm clouds returned, rain misting the windows as the family sat in silence. The letter lay on the table, its ink blurred at the edges, but unbroken in meaning. Anna Mitchell's eyes were steel now. Laura Mitchell's grief had hardened. Ethan Mitchell's restless energy smoldered, and David Cole's calm grew more menacing. Sophia Mitchell's ghost hovered in their silence, her truth a chain binding them together and pulling them into deeper darkness. As night fell again, Anna Mitchell whispered, Sophia, are you at peace? Laura Mitchell said gently, peace lies beyond us. Ethan Mitchell muttered, peace is a lie without justice. David Cole's cold tone cut through, justice twists until it devours itself. The narrator described how the porch creaked under their weight, the moon hidden behind clouds. Sophia Mitchell's ghostly glow flickered faintly in the mist, her smile haunting, her silence heavier than any verdict. Anna Mitchell's face froze in defiance. Laura Mitchell's calm returned. Ethan Mitchell's fire dimmed but not extinguished, and David Cole's silence deepened like a storm gathering unseen. The night closed with one truth echoing louder than all others. Justice was not an end, but a haunting that never let go.